believe it.
Hello, Sarah. Episode
We're
427. We are here.
Yes.
Barely.
I want real bad to start rhyming again. I have had multiple requests.
Then do it. I'm not the boss.
No, you're right. What? I push back on that
Of
one.
rhyming.
Boss lady. You give off boss vibes.
I do. I'm not the boss of rhyming, though. That's your
That
department.
is. I am the boss of rhyming. Yes. But like low level boss of a very small
You're like,
small company.
What did they say about Dwight Schrute? Assistant to the
Oh,
manager?
I'm an assistant. I'm an assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm an assistant to the regional manager of rhyming. Oh, that's so funny. So
How
how's
you
your
doing,
week
Sarah?
going? Oh my God. No, let me ask you first.
Well, it's been quite a week.
Yes.
We record about a week ahead. So we are in the thick of the protesting and still having a pandemic. So it's been something else.
Not a dull moment.
Not a dull moment.
That's for sure. I'm all about the uproar. So
Yeah.
yes,
Me
let's
too.
do it.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
I love
I'm
it.
getting
I
fired
love
up. Yeah.
shaking things up. I love people making change.
Yes,
All
I
of
love
it.
all that. However, I have something to complain about.
Let's hear it.
Like, because I don't want to make this like a time where I'm like being complainy. But Sunday morning, I'm already in this like, because like it's been
you're
that
agitated.
weekend. I'm agitated. I'm like, fired up. I wake up and I'm going, I say to myself, we talked a lot about planting. Planting's really good. So like, I'm going to try to calm down and like focus on just like my garden. And
That's
so I'm
good.
like outside, I'm trimming my mint is doing fantastic, by the way.
Okay, good.
Which is great because it was almost dead. So I'm doing that. And inside, as I'm doing this, Ren's asleep. And inside is our little robot vacuum, who we have named Little Oofy. And Lil Oofy, because the brand is Oofy, so and it says it on the top, so naturally he's Lil Oofy. And he runs around the house and cleans, and he's great and everything. But I'm outside, and all of a sudden I hear this like sloshy, like against the window. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Like the sliding window. And so I look, and this little guy who looks like now he's like trying to escape out of the house is spitting water everywhere. And I pick him up and I flip him over, and water goes spraying into my face. And I'm like, what the fuck? Is this like, what did it spill? And I was thinking, it's got to be like the dog bowl. Like maybe the vacuum like sucked up water. So I look up, and there are water tracks all over the house. And I'm like, this is way more than just a dog bowl. I walk into the guest bedroom and the laundry room. It is flooded. I mean,
what the
under
hell?
inches
Why
of
does
water.
this happen to you all the time?
Why does this happen to? I mean, are you kidding me?
Is it?
And
do
I
you
don't
have
mean
big
like a little
PMs or
flood.
what?
I mean, no, it wasn't even that. It was it ended up being the heater. The heater had like corroded. The copper pipes had built up like calcium around them. And the water couldn't get through, and it sprang a leak. And then it just all night long flooded the entire office with all of it, like all the closet, everything, all of our like.
Come
oh my God!
on.
It's so I'm not kidding. We wake up, and now this electric robot has now taken this water, dirty ass water, and sprayed it all over the house. And Ren's sleeping, and so I wake up. I'm like. Trying not to like wake him up in a panic. And I'm like, but I definitely didn't say it calm. I'm like, Ren! Like wake him up.
Ren.
And nobody likes to be woken up, We're like, if he wasn't like looking at Twitter and watching like riot videos, and then you would hear your girlfriend screaming your name in the other room, that could not have been enjoyable.
No.
And so we get to like bailing out the frickin' or the guest room, all the towels and everything, and then try to call, this is the worst part of it in my mind, try to call the apartment, no answer. Try to call their emergency number. The emergency line is this phone number is not currently working.
Boy,
no
you are
answer.
really getting a runaround at that apartment complex.
What the hell? We ended up having to go on like a walk, like a run around the building, found a maintenance worker who was cleaning the outside of the building who happened to have the number of one of the maintenance guys, hunted him, like his direct line. Thank God he came. And still, nobody's done a thing. It's been 5 days.
What is it, all soggy still?
They gave us a blower, like to,
Lord,
which
those things
I've
are
stopped
stupid.
just because I'm recording right now.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so
Why are
it was
you
high
cursed?
drama. Why? Right?
I really want to know.
Like, and I feel like was this
A
when I was
sign.
talking about the fires, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad that there wasn't any water damage in our. I don't know. I'm like, what's. I shouldn't think that. Like, magical thinking isn't a real thing. I have to remind myself of that. I'm like, Sarah, there are no thoughts. There's no nothing that causes this.
No,
it
but
just
you do have
feels
bad
like,
luck.
for real. And so now I like, and Ren's so wonderful, and he's like trying to like, okay, we're going to clean it up. I'm like, no, we're not spending a second longer cleaning. Like, we've already wasted half a day and
He's had it.
And I've had it.
Oh.
He's being all nice, and he's like, we'll do it. And I'm like, no. Mm-mm. They're coming and they're taking care of this.
No,
I will
Sarah,
not say
don't
where I
play
live
that.
because, I want to still live here, but they also need to take care of it. But
Man,
anyways,
you're having a
sounds
bad
much
week.
nice. Yeah. A little bit. Well, you know what? It's always like high drama over here. That's like, I don't know.
That's your MO.
Meanwhile, you've got like birds chirping in the background.
Can you hear them right now?
Yes, it sounds lovely.
Darn, the door's even shut. They are just loud, singing
Yeah.
their tune.
Yeah.
It really is like a wildlife paradise over here. I think I told you about that snake we saw.
Oh my gosh!
I don't think
yes,
I did.
and then you
Did
sent.
I?
Yeah, when we came over to your house,
Yeah.
and Adam sent me a picture of it,
Yeah.
and I'm like terrified that thing lives on my phone now.
Right, yeah. He probably didn't know about your phobia.
Oh my God! Speaking of which, I saw the most insane clip from a TV show. I think it's called like Kings of Pain.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
No.
It's these Australian guys, and they do a television show where they intentionally try to get bit or stung by something and then rate
for
the pain
Pete's
scale.
sake.
And I
Come
saw one
on.
where they like basically put their arm out like it's a frickin' turkey leg to a python.
No.
And like a python with like crazy teeth, and let the python bite it. And not just one of these dumbasses did it, but two of them did it.
I don't love it.
I hate it. And then the last guy who did it, who was like, I really like, I have a wife and I should really think about that. And like, maybe it's a bad idea. I'm like, dude, this is like your second season. You didn't think about it before?
So it's like Jackass, but with wildlife.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay.
And I'm like,
Why are men idiots?
what's wrong with you?
Like, you never see a
Like-
show with a bunch of women doing this shit.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Here it is. Yeah. Kings of Pain. Oh my gosh. Follows wildlife biologist Adam Thorne, AKA,
Johnny Knoxville.
yeah, Johnny Knoxville for sure. And then they have like a pain index. Come on.
I wonder what's
I
the
can't.
worst pain they've ever had, though. Now I wanted to see the index.
Right. And you know what? It does come up. It's like, let's see if I can find it real quick. This is funny. It says, will there be a King of Pain season 2? Well, God, I hope not. Maybe it just had season 1. Yes. And there's even an article that says, is Kings of Pain science or stupidity? I don't even need to click
for
on that
Pete's
link
sake.
to tell you.
I don't even
Right.
like that question. I'm mad about it.
I know. And how I found out about this, oh my God, I didn't even mean to talk about this today, but it's so funny. I was like, looking for something new to watch on Hulu and found this show. It's called like Celebrities Watching Television or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And, I freaking love it. I'm obsessed, Suze.
Now you know why people watch us watching
I
the
totally
challenge.
get it.
What do
It's
you
so
love about
funny.
it?
I love it so much. My favorite are Out of Touch Dads. Like, which is now I understand why it's so hilarious when you don't know who anybody is on there and you're like, wait, who's that again? And like, I'm like annoyed with you and everybody else is like, that's so funny. Right. And now I'm like, oh my God, I get it. It's so funny. Rob Lowe and his kids are hilarious because like they're picking on Dad is really funny.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it's so great. And give him a hard time about like, him being a ladies' man. And the Osbournes are really, really funny. And oh my God, I'm totally doing like an ad for this television show that nobody's paid me to do. But of course I did one for Kings of Pain and fuck that show.
Yeah, fuck that show.
Yeah, but
somebody commented, by the way, that we have quit apologizing to Linda. So I would like to apologize to Linda that I wasn't apologizing for all of my profanity.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Linda.
I'm very
God,
sorry.
That's really funny. Oh man, yeah.
I guess I just forgot about her.
I did too. At this point, we like what do you say after like sorry, Linda? What's the I need like a validating response from Linda. Maybe that's it. It feels like unfinished business.
Yeah,
like
right.
I've just been like apologizing. When's she going to be like, it's okay?
Yeah, we have put up healthy boundaries now. Like we've said,
I can only apologize so much. Right now, it's like what you're getting.
Yeah, it's fool me twice. I mean, come on.
Oh,
maybe
that is
Linda.
So funny.
It's like Linda was the original Karen.
Yeah,
really.
Man, I've thought a lot about your comments on the Karen post, which, by the way, still up in my hallway, hasn't been picked up.
The poop or the sign?
But either.
You have got to be kidding. Sarah, pick that up.
Well, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying these words. It's so gross. Now the poop has since been like calcified or like turned into a rock or whatever, and like, or it's been stepped on, and it's like hardened to the pavement. The whole thing needs to be, look, they're not even cleaning up the flood in my place. They're clearly not concerned about the stairwell in which no one resides and they're not collecting rent on.
I would pick it up if I were you.
I'm really fired up.
You need to get a putty knife and scrape it up.
Why me?
It's the right thing to do.
So I could talk complaining about it. But then I'm going to spend the next episode spending a good 10 minutes of talking about my experience scraping it off the poo and how awful that was and how I need everybody to understand that.
I mean, I think that the perpetrator should have picked it up, but since they clearly aren't gonna.
No, they're not. It's now been kicked around and like it's still the evidence of it is still there. But what ifs.
I don't think you live in the good place anymore.
I don't either. Well, and yeah.
Have there been protesters near your house?
There are protesters close. Not very close, or not close enough for us to hear them or see any of the commotion. We, of course, have not left our house, and there's been an early curfew. So the 4 p.m. curfew kind of threw us off, especially because it was a day where we were trying to get groceries. And originally it was one day it was a 7 p.m. curfew. And it was like, we are desperate for groceries situation. Mm-hmm. And so we went, I tried to walk across the street and I happened to have a Gelson's right across the street from us. And they shut the door, like, even though the curfew was at 7 and I was there at 6, they like shut the door in my face and they're like, no, we're not taking anybody else. And they were rather rude about it. Then we're like, okay, I guess we won't get any. And then the next day we were like working in the morning, and then about 3 o'clock, we're like, oh, let's go get groceries. And then 4 o'clock curfew came, and we were like out again, out of luck. So then we like had to like, okay, we're gonna get groceries in the morning, and took care of that. So we were okay. But that kind of threw us off. And then this morning I saw 15 cop cars drive by.
Oh my!
Yeah, so we hear a lot of that, and it's all boarded up. But
right, yeah, I saw that on your story.
Yeah, so
it's been real quiet up here. Obviously,
that would nothing be quiet. Ways out of their way.
Yeah, we're not in the hot seat, but I've just been watching on social.
Yeah, I love a protest.
Oh
yes. Yes, I love it so much. And so, I'm thinking about like what kind of things I can do and what kind of things we can do on our podcast. I was talking to Ren and he was like, hey, have you ever talked about any like Black inventions and like Black inventors? And I was like, No, we have not. In fact, I couldn't name pretty much any. So I did a little digging, and I found a great video that was, it is called, People Try to Live 72 Hours Without Black Inventions, and it didn't go well.
Yes, I remember that.
And it was great. Oh, you've seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, I love that. So there were so many things that we had never even, we never even learned about. I mean, there's like a million things, that we haven't learned about. So I thought I would share some of these good ones because a lot of times the stories behind them are really good too.
Okay.
Okay, so in the video, some of the things in the video that they were not able to live with, and this is a small fraction of these inventions. So automated elevator doors. The 3-light traffic light, which I love the story behind, and I'll tell you that one. Refrigerated trucks, or any food that came in a refrigerated truck. Caller ID, call waiting, any kind of phone. Touch-tone phones. Electrical resistors, which I don't even know what the heck that is, but it's in pretty much everything. It's like TV, radio, computer, anything that you use, it's in that. Mm-hmm. And it was just so funny to watch them because they day one, second one, were like, okay, well, I've already failed the experiment. I've broken the rules 1,000 times. You can't do anything.
Well,
and I loved
Jane
it.
Elliott always talks about, let's go back even further. Where do you think we got paper and fucking math? Thank you, Egyptians.
Oh my God, that's so true. Where the fuck do you think we got paper? Oh my God, that's so funny.
People, I think Americans tend to think of, Black Americans or African Americans and don't think about, where they actually came from and what they were responsible for. They think of them just as, these people that we enslaved and they're victims.
Yes.
So
Susie, that is taking it so much farther than my thought even was with it. I love this. Teach me things.
I don't know enough, believe me. I just know that we are
look at that.
Limited often by what we learned growing up, and that is so minimal. And that's why I love working with Jane Elliott, because she doesn't put up with any bullshit, and she will tell you, here's why you're wrong. Here's all the ways you've been indoctrinated that are erroneous and discriminatory. And you're just like, oh, I was a part of an entire system, including the education system, that has been whitewashed and erased swaths of people from all over the world because we are fearful and pathetic and weak.
Yes. Oh, and it's just to justify terrible, terrible things. Oh my God. I love seeing her all over the place and knowing that, now especially, and knowing that, she's a friend of the Brain Candy podcast.
Yeah, man, she is.
How did you meet her?
I just contacted her for the Meisterpiece when I did the Meisterpiece podcast, and I interviewed her for that. And then when I moved to LA, I contacted her because she has a home out here and in Sun City, and I just said, can I come over?
Oh my God, you're the best.
And she said, okay. And so that's how we became friends.
I love
and
that.
Seriously, she does not put up with bullshit. So she will tell you you're wrong to your face, and she doesn't do it with kid gloves. She's very, upfront about it and direct. And she brings out this map and shows you how, when you look at a globe, it's very hard to make an accurate globe on a flat piece of paper. And so what, racists did was they emphasized the northern hemisphere, which basically erases and diminishes the southern hemisphere, which is where a lot of the brown people lived and live. And so even something as simple as the maps we use create a sense that the white world is better.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is everywhere. It is ubiquitous.
And you don't even recognize it until it's literally put right in front of you.
Yeah, you have to have somebody undo that. You have to dismantle it.
Yes.
So that's what we need to do.
And learn and learn and learn and learn. Thank goodness we love learning.
I know. It is exhausting, though, because there is so much to undo.
Yeah.
But you got to start somewhere. don't let the enormity of the task convince you to avoid it.
Yes.
You got to empty the ocean with a teaspoon, so get started.
That's right. Well, we can maybe like recognize some inventors.
Indeed.
Like Garrett Morgan, who invented the 3-light traffic light.
Yeah, what's his story?
So here, the best, I love why, because I think that's super cool. So he, like many black inventors, only had an elementary school education, and he grew up on a farm and started recognizing like a whole bunch of stuff on the farm that he could fix. And so he began like improving things like the sewing machine. He had improved invention like to the sewing machine. He also created the gas mask. And so through these inventions, he, made some money. And he was the first black man in Cleveland, Ohio to have a car. And with his automobile driving around, he was noticing that there were tons of these terrible accidents, and motorcyclists were getting in these horrific accidents with the 2-light system. So he's like, we got to change this. And so he invented the 3-light traffic light.
How cool is that?
I love that story.
Yeah, don't you love when someone sees a problem and instead of complaining about it like I do, they just fix it? I mean,
yes,
that is so cool.
Yes. And, Suze, we couldn't even have our podcast without this one. The electret microphone was invented by James E. West in 1964.
Thank you, James.
And, which is very important because it's like the same microphone that you'd use in like, any kind of beautiful singing like karaoke.
Aha, yes. He's facilitating
it's in
all
everything.
of our vices.
It's the same patent that's in Alexa that listens to your voice and picks up the voice and all the Alexa things, which I didn't even know a lot about how patents work. This kind of then took me, I was like, how the hell does that even work? So like, yes. So then like parts, it's so interesting. Like what makes a unique idea and what qualifies for a patent and what doesn't, and how like Alexa is made up of a bunch of different patents. And like you can take, it's like patents on patents.
Yeah, you can build upon it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so, this new microphone was used in like a ton of stuff. Baby monitors, hearing aids, tape recorders, all telephones. Like that seems like one that should be right up there that they talk. I mean, like all of this, these are like, I read these lists, I'm like, what did white people invent?
Yeah, we're pathetic. My friend Melissa, who was on Real World New Orleans years ago, she says, she always jokes, well, she's not joking. She always says that everything you love, black people created. And even if you think a white person made it, look further. They probably stole it.
Here's a great example. How about the light bulb? We give Thomas Edison a whole bunch of credit for that, which is like great. Okay, the light bulb itself was invented by Thomas Edison, but the innovation that was used to create the actual light bulb, the carbon filament that we use that created it so it was long lasting, so it would last more than like, I don't know, however the heck long those old ones did, was done by this guy, Louis Latimer, and a black guy. There you go. Nobody talks about him either. No. I mean, all of these, that could be the answer for. So it's like, everything.
Yeah, so it's great to start the conversation and just get an education about it. And like I said, we don't know fucking shit.
And female inventors, too. I love that.
Yeah, man.
It's like, it's great.
Sick of all these white dudes. I'm done talking about you bozos.
I know. Right. But it's like hard, and I think you said it right. So it's like you really have to be willing, because, I mean, let's call a spade here. We can assume, I shouldn't assume, but I think maybe we have the demographics to know that a lot of our listeners are white.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's fine, of course, but with that privilege, we have to like have some duties that come with that we do, and like not be scared to kind of put in the work and do that, Well,
and I don't think we've ever been shy about that, but
the
job is
I mean, we like collectively.
Yeah, no. And I hope that we still get held accountable and people say when they feel like we missed the mark or if we're not doing enough, like, please tell me.
Yeah.
And so I think people do that in general, but, I'm open to it.
I do love that. And I think it's hard. Like, that's a big... and I feel like a lot of people recently, as we've seen, have had to kind of say, I'm sorry and apologize for, or like they're, or not even more than I'm sorry. I think it's also, I was unaware of the ways that, my behavior affected others, things like that. More of bringing an awareness to past action that maybe wasn't correct. And that's freaking okay, because that's growth. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like we all have to do that all day, all the time.
If you don't think you have any blind spots, then I can find one for you.
Right.
Because
you can always find
that.
Let me know, Suze, anytime.
No. Yeah. I don't mean you specifically.
Oh, of course. No, I know, but I'm still yeah. Open the door, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how, and you just have to get comfortable doing that, receiving that. And that comes from self-worth too, I feel like the same things, because you can expand on this, and maybe it's just my therapeutic model that I love so much, that a lot of it comes down to if you're okay and you feel like you're a good person, then you know what, you can take a little bit of that, and it doesn't mean that you're bad. It just means that maybe there's more to learn.
Well, and the thing is, just because you come to me and say, here's why you're wrong and you missed the mark, I am open to it. I will listen. But that doesn't mean I'll say, yeah, you're right. Maybe you're wrong. But,
sure.
We just should have a dialogue here.
Yeah. And being open to one. Oh, I love that. Because it extends to all topics.
When you say about the people on social that are having to apologize and stuff, part of that I think comes from they don't have the confidence or the experience to know whether they were right or wrong. So then one person will say, oh, you shouldn't have done this. And then they get confused. And then they might apologize. But then someone else gets mad. So you really have to think and be discerning before you start waffling.
Tell me more about the confidence of being like that. Confidence
sometimes people
in being
come
confused.
I'll give you an example. So
I love this.
Was doing some work on Brain Candy's Instagram, and when the George Floyd protests began, I thought, okay, we need to be thoughtful about what we post, how much we post, what we say, what we promote, because it's just about being responsible with your content and your business. And so I tried to do that, and I acknowledged what was going on and addressed it. And, we went dark and we waited and I reflected. And then when it was time to promote again, I put up that message that was like, hey, we have to promote and we're going to have fun with you guys and we can still be playful, but the work continues and we will continue to educate ourselves, etc. And then the next slide, I was promoting our episode. And then someone wrote and said that was tone deaf, that I shouldn't have been promoting the episode because it didn't have anything to do with the situation. I disagree because I addressed it beforehand and I said, here's what I'm about to do. And here's my intention. And so then, and that's fine. We have a difference of opinion about whether it was appropriate. And I appreciate them writing and I don't get mad or anything like that. I just don't agree. But if she had said that I did something wrong and then I was like, then I would pivot and I'd fix it.
Absolutely. Yeah. You got to be open and you got to have an understanding of
you have to be confident about your intention and then what you did. And if you did fuck up, say it.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah. Because we all do, man. And that's it. We just got to learn. I feel like it's so fun to listen to you talk on this subject and so it's difficult. It's hard to say things like anything like this is fun, but it's so interesting because I feel like your perspective is so great since I just think about your upbringing and your childhood and what you were exposed to and the kind of ideas and we talk about this with you changing political views. Yeah. And I feel like it's all,
but that's why it all falls with education because I had to read so much about the white supremacy that was ingrained in evangelicalism, which is the tradition in which I grew up. And once you learn that, you can't pretend like you don't know anymore.
Right.
And so you have to make a choice. Am I still comfortable with that worldview or do I need to move on to something else? So it's painful.
Why do you think?
But
And I really don't even know the answer to this. And of course, because who does? But maybe you can shed some light. Why do you think it's so uncomfortable for people to let go of that? What is the? I mean, I know that's so deep, but like,
I think it's what we talk about a lot about identity. If you see something as integral to who you are, then to dismantle that can be really painful. And also be, cause you to flounder. Like, if I'm not an evangelical Christian, what am I?
right?
Especially when, for me, that's why I was cast on the show. So then the identity runs even deeper because it's a persona, too. And
this is really interesting.
I mean, let's say for you, like, in your case, it's different because the reason you were cast was not as fundamental to, like, identity. But if something came along that made you question whether you identified as, I don't know, something that they saw you as, what did they, what would be an example of that for you?
Oh, gosh. Even like, I mean, I guess just like, I'm trying to think. I don't know. What do you think? I can't even answer that. That's so weird. What do I? Maybe as like a survivor.
Mm-hmm. If something came along where, let's say, the survivor community rejected you and said, you know what, she's being performative and we don't appreciate the words she's saying on screen, then you have to look inside and say, like, am I still a part of this community? And if I'm not, who am I? What does that mean about me? That's what it felt like for me. Because this was, Susie is this, a virginal Christian. Well, then I wasn't sure I was anymore. Well, then who the fuck am I? And so it's uncomfortable, man.
And you know what? This makes me think of, like, so I think about, and I think you're so right with identity. And I think about, like, I have zero attachment to my genetic lineage, and in fact, the opposite. And it's not part of my identity because I don't want to identify with people who did bad things and some people who did bad things to me. So I have made that really not, and I've kind of struggled to have a strong identity. And I wonder if in kind of feeling like that feeling of, well, who am I from day one, made me a little more receptive to or made me kind of really ask, like, what do I believe, and like pick a group and do the, because I would say I bounced around and said, I don't know where I belong.
Yeah,
here. For sure. Dude.
Yeah.
This is like some deep shit.
Yeah, because like I see it with you about your last name. Because you didn't like Rice because it's associated with him. And you didn't like Patterson anymore because you got divorced, obviously.
Right.
So it's like, well, now...
I don't give a fuck about my last... Right. I'm like, I don't care. Call me whatever you want. I don't know. I've always been like that when people at like Starbucks will be like, oh, Sarah, with an H or without. And I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's like not even part of my identity at all. So, yeah, it was... But it would be probably harder to get me to change an ingrained, like I don't know, a belief or something that's I've been taught or learned or something. If it were part of my culture or something that I identified with, if that were like something I really strongly identified.
Yeah, if it's fundamental to who you are.
I can see that.
But once you get past that initial like, now what? Then it's liberating. Because now I see it as you don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. I no longer identify as an evangelical Christian, but I still identify as a follower of Jesus. And that's important to me. And so once you are free from the chains that bind you, whether it's systemic religion or whatever, then you can make your own way. And that is liberation.
Yes. Oh, you're so smart, Susie.
Yes, Sarah. So you forget it. That's who I am now.
I don't. No, it's just, it's so fun to hear because, like, the same way I talk about, like, this is your body of knowledge as far as like looking at what's really going on and like taking it. It's like, it's what you did with religion and all of that. And it's like, I look at the emotions and it's how excited I can hear that enthusiasm in your voice and like, or passion, I should say, more than enthusiasm. The passion in your voice is the same way I talk when I talk about like therapy ideas or ideas behind like, you know, that. And it's just like super cool because I love passionate Susie.
Well, I am passionate about it and I think about it all the time, but I don't engage in a lot of conversations about it because, not because I don't want to, but because most people get very uncomfortable. And I do think it's because it is fundamental. Someone's faith is really important and they don't want that to be challenged in a way that makes them feel scared or offended. And, you know, I don't really peddle in theology. I am interested in facts and information. And that's kind of, people see that as dissonant because religion isn't really supposedly about facts. But we can have the conversation, and I think it's important for people to do it, but they have to wait till they're ready because it's scary.
Yeah. Like both people ready, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Well, obviously.
Right. Those conversations can go south real fast.
Yeah.
If everyone isn't being fair. So how do you
not get fired up? What do you do to not get like, this is like me taking notes now.
Well, this is what I was saying before we started recording. You have to identify what your goal is. Because I can get real fired up if I want to win. If I want to crush you, I can do that. But if my goal is to persuade you and inform you, well, then I got to control myself because me yelling at you and condescending to you won't work.
Yeah. Like I find myself becoming very like emotional, and it's like I sense like the vibes and the like everything, and it just becomes overwhelming, and then I start thinking about everything that comes with it and blah blah blah, and then I start crying, and so like
when you're talking to people,
can't do that. Yeah, like just trying, like because they become like I get very passionate.
Yeah,
you'd think I would be good at having these kind of dialogues, you know, and like that kind of stuff. But it's mostly I care a lot, and I think it's difficult, especially with people that you know. Like it's, you know. I don't know what that's about, but
I mean, obviously it's empowering when you're armed with tons of information, which I have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good.
If you're coming into a heated conversation about something really important like religion or politics, then and you don't have a lot of solid facts, you're probably going to end up in a fight. You know, so you have to be prepared for that kind of thing. And that's why educating yourself on whatever subject it is is the work you do beforehand.
And you know what? Maybe a lighthearted conversation about, you know, George Crumb, who invented the potato chip, could be just the ticket to start it up. Hey, you love those potato chips you're eating over there? Do you know when a customer sent back some French fries because they were cut too thin, he was like, oh, let's cut them thinner and fry them up and see what they taste like.
Thank you,
and
George.
And turns out they're delicious. So there you go.
Maybe I owe a lot to George.
Oh, I know. I was like, gosh. You know, you couldn't even honor him when we did our 420 episode, though, Suze. God.
But I can honor him on most days when I reach into a bag and eat them.
Yes. Don't you forget it. Oh, that is
George.
Really funny. Because I do think that those kind of like, I know I say that like, you know, we're like lightheartedly, but like that sometimes it is something that's like an icebreaker almost to then engage, because I think about like what I intended to talk about today and what kind of like we ended up having a discussion on some of those difficult topics through, you know, a different conversation.
Yes.
And I think that's like, now I'm kind of thinking of it right now, because I even find with people that, you know, I know, and it's not like everybody I know is like me and Susie, and we're just sitting here and talking like this all the time. And so like there are some conversations that I want to engage in, and I, you know, can get very passionate and want to do it like.
Well, did you see on our Instagram when I posted Black Lives Matter, someone did write All Lives Matter. And it was within 4 minutes. Like, it was real fast. And I was like, oh, no. Nope. You fuck off with that shit. Not in my house. Because...
Get out. Yep. Get out of here.
What I've noticed is sometimes when people say that, they might mean it in a nice way. But I believe that we're far enough along in this conversation that to me it feels like a provocation. They're doing it to provoke a reaction.
Right. You're so right. Because everybody listening right now, we have all seen the videos. We've all heard the house is on fire analogy.
Sure, yes.
We've all heard the dinner plate and the one person doesn't get served dinner and saying they're hungry.
They know that shit too.
You know that.
Yeah.
So now you're so right. Now it's totally used. What did you say it?
A provocation. Like they're provoking.
Yes. Oh my God. I don't even know that word.
And I just thought, well, no, we're not doing that. But for those of you listening that are still clinging to this absurd idea, even if you look at biblically, let's say you're a Christian and that's what you say, all lives matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we've got a handy reference. His name's Jesus. And he...
I've heard of him.
I've heard of him.
I think I know that guy.
He split time in half. And he talked about how a shepherd had 100 sheep. And one of those sheep was lost. And he went searching for that one sheep, not because the other 99 didn't matter, but because one needed help. But I just think, listen, you guys... If you want to use religion, we can, but then we got a whole nother can of worms, and I can do it, but you have to be
Susie,
ready to.
She's
accept.
got cans of worms.
I have so
on deck,
many
ready
worms.
to open them. So many worms.
But I don't think you want to. I don't think because people don't engage me in that way because they know they will be ruined.
Yeah. Well, that's good, and you know what? Good. Like that's kind of like a there's a pizza place downstairs right underneath me, and it's been questionable with this pizza because they're always open.
You're always talking about this.
I know, because I'm telling you, they're like doing their own thing. I don't even know if they know that there's a pandemic going on because they're like still making up their pizzas and everything. And like when everything was on the what the hell you call it, curfew, when the curfew was set and everything, they were like still serving food, and then we went there, and then I was mad. We ate there because I was like, this isn't what I want, and I don't know why. But that's another story. But so one day they had nothing up, and the next day, and I walk by this restaurant every single time I walk the dog, and so the next evening when the riots were probably at I'm not going to call them riots. The protests were at their peak. They put up signs that said Black Lives Matter, but then in small writing underneath, and All Lives Matter.
No.
And I was like,
No.
Nope. And then the next day, sign's gone.
Yeah.
So do you think somebody informed them?
Or somebody stole it or something.
Yeah, but it was there were probably 12 of them on every single window.
Oh my God.
Inside. And I think it might have been their way to say, if there were anybody.
Yeah, they're just scared.
Yes, but I was like, wow, somebody needs to.
Were they
tell
handwritten or
no,
printed? Oh, man.
I know. Yeah. Sign business is really doing well during this
Maybe you should
COVID.
pop in, though, and ask about the signs.
You know what? I will, because they will not be getting my $5 for their happy hour pizza anymore if they're,
Yeah, I just want to know, maybe there's an explanation.
Yeah. Yes. And I found out there's some, great black-owned restaurants in the Marina Del Rey area, including a gourmet taco place that I can't wait to go to.
There you go.
So
yeah, you
that's
don't need
where
that
I'll
crappy
be.
pizza.
I don't need that crap. Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
I just want people to subscribe and tell a friend about us.
Tell a friend.
That's what
please.
I want. Because you know what? We're doing the Lord's work over here.
you know, it's like it's hard. We have to find, you know, some light amongst, like, my mom called me the other day and she was just like, Sarah, and this is so funny because she always does this. She loves having conversations with people when they're, like, not there. And then she, like, plays both sides, like, pretend. I guess maybe in this conversation I'm, like, answering back to her or something. But she was, like, said that she also loves to do this while she's on the toilet, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
And which I also think that one of the modern versions of was invented by a black man as well. I think I did read that. As well as the super soaker. So just throw a few more in there. In case you're wondering. But yeah, so she called me and she was like having this conversation. And she was like, Sarah, I was just having a conversation with you while I was on the toilet. Weird thing for mom to start the conversation with. But whatevs. And she was like, I just want to call and tell. And I said, tell Sarah that there's still joy and there's still magic and there's still all that stuff. So, you know, I try to think that maybe our little Brain Candy podcast here can be just like a little joy and a little magic. We can, like, come together and, like, laugh and learn about, like, a whole bunch of different stuff. But
well, that's what I love is that it's not caring about this stuff in the world that needs to be handled doesn't preclude us from being joyful and having fun and laughing and having moments of levity, as I said on our thing. So they can coexist.
I'm so glad you said that because I feel like that's an important thing to say. Like, I think maybe you're the first person who's, like, said that out loud to me, or I've talked about that or even realized
it feels
that
like serious business.
It feels, but it is, you know, it is important. And maybe
it's both. I mean, like,
they're not mutually exclusive.
And how the appeal of a movement that is all doom and gloom is minimal. So you want people to want to be a part of your movement because it can include fun stuff and serious work.
Yeah. Michael Rappaport has been a fun one to follow during all
great.
of this.
I love that
He's
guy.
freaking great, and I love him. And he does, what is it called? Oh, well, he has one clip that he does, like, every week or so where they just call out people who have, like, talked shit and, you know, talk shit to them. And, I love it. But he put up this clip. I can't remember where, or this video. I don't remember where it is. But it's a bunch of protesters doing the Cupid Shuffle. And I'm like, yeah, see, I love that. And he's like, disrupt in any way. Like, there are a million ways to disrupt. And, and, you know, it would be really hard to shoot, well, I mean, knock on wood, to shoot rubber bullets at people doing the Cupid Shuffle.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought that was cute.
Yeah,
and,
you
like,
can be
something that made my
effective
heart.
and, you know, fun.
Yeah. And fun.
So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to think if there were any other stories that I had to bring you this week.
Yeah, don't deprive me. Jeez.
I know. Something on how celebrity culture is burning. But then I read it and I was like, I think Susie already talked to us about this. Oh, I do have one.
Okay.
But you guys have probably already seen this. And this was from, like, a long time ago. But how Crayola came out with their inclusive world for children of all ages, races, colors, and ethnicities, and Colors of the World global skin tone pack.
Yes.
But
I mean, that was great. I wondered, though, like, are people buying that?
I hope so, and I would 100% absolutely, because the only other company that did this, and shout out to this company because they've been doing it for a long ass time. And when I was a kid, I had this set, and it was my favorite. I think it was called People Colors too. Lakeshore Learning.
Oh, I love Lakeshore Learning.
Yes, they have had a People Colors set for forever.
Good.
And I always loved that, and I've always loved them. So Crayola, I mean, like, okay, good job, but you know, you weren't the first ones to do it. But I also did like that the names, because I think the names can be really important, and that they didn't use any, like, the terminology. I think it's just like light almond, light rose, deep golden, very deep almond, and nothing's like, you know, anything that has any, right. Yeah. Like nude. That's like a word that comes with, or flesh, or like others, you know, that was a big mistake. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, yes. So there you go.
There you go.
And I like those. That's a little fun thing to
Do you feel like we've cleansed ourselves?
I feel like my heart rate has gone down a little since before we started. I do. I mean, I could have maybe done a little bit of getting it fired, like starting on a real high with the flood in my house story, but that was just because of the flood. But no, I'm feeling good. Okay. Yeah, I need to talk about it. I need to vent. And I can't vent to Ren because he had to deal with the same shit I did. So we are, however, going back and forth complaining about how nobody's done anything yet about.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
You're going to have to be a Karen and ask for the manager.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. There you go.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.